The train screeched to a halt at Dry Hollow Station, cloaked in red dust that swirled like a restless spirit. Tina, a tall Apache woman, stepped onto the platform, her old suitcase gripped tightly. In her heart flickered a fragile hope. After a long journey, a home and a husband awaited her. But Caleb Morton, the young merchant who met her, offered no warmth. His eyes raked over her, tall, broad-shouldered, muscles straining against her simple dress. A bitter laugh escaped him, cutting through the crowd. "I thought I was marrying a refined lady, not a woman built like a man. No one could call that a wife." His words slashed Tina's dream like a blade. Townsfolk murmured, some laughing openly. A child pointed, shouting, "The giant woman." Tina stood frozen, hands trembling on her suitcase, tears welling but her chin lifting defiantly. Caleb turned and walked away, leaving her slumped on a wooden bench, surrounded by mocking laughter and contemptuous stares. The desert wind howled, swirling dust around the abandoned Apache woman, clutching her suitcase in silence, humiliated. As the late afternoon sun cast long shadows, Tina sat motionless, the world shrinking to the dusty platform. Amid the jeering crowd, one man watched quietly. Elias Ward, a middle-aged rancher in a weathered leather coat, had gray eyes cold as stone and a face etched by hardship. A widower who lived alone on barren land west of town, Elias rarely meddled. Yet something about Tina, her proud eyes masking shame, held him fast. Without a word, Elias stepped forward. The crowd hushed, recognizing the solitary rancher, respected for his quiet resolve and steady hand on his gun. He stopped before Tina. She looked up, tear-filled black eyes sharp with suspicion, like a cornered animal. Elias offered no comfort, only 3 raspy words, "Come with me." Tina hesitated, a storm of doubt raging. Was this a trap? But Elias's gaze held no mockery, only stillness. He lifted her suitcase with one hand and walked away, slow but certain. With nowhere else to go, Tina followed. The road out of town choked with dust, the wind lashing sand across their faces. Elias rode his horse, Tina walked beside him, bare feet bloodied but posture unyielding. Neither spoke, only the creak of the saddle and her heavy steps broke the silence, her eyes burning with a longing to belong. By nightfall, they reached Elias's small ranch house, nestled in the open prairie. The wooden cabin was humble, its fence leaning, the barn quiet. Elias opened the door. "There's room here. Leave in the morning if you want. If you stay, live like a human being." Tina paused at the threshold, doubt and hope colliding. Stepping inside, she felt her life shift. The next morning, roosters crowed, and wind howled across the prairie. Pale light revealed scars on Tina's strong arms. She'd slept on a hard bed under a worn but clean blanket, the scent of sunlight lingering. For the first time in years, her sleep was free of cold or fear. In the kitchen, Elias tended the fire, pushing a bowl of bean soup toward her without a word. Tina ate quietly, stealing glances at the weathered man. His movements held no contempt. The day passed slowly. Elias led his horse to the field while Tina, unprompted, swept the floor, straightened chairs, and patched a curtain. Her rough hands were clumsy but determined, proving she wasn't useless. By afternoon, Elias returned with firewood. Tina stepped outside to help, her bare feet pressing into cracked earth. He started to wave her off but saw the resolve in her eyes and set the bundle down. They carried it inside, their breaths mingling with the prairie wind. That night, under the dim glow of an oil lamp, they sat across the table. Silence stretched until Tina spoke, her voice steady. "Why did you bring me here? Pity?" Elias's gray eyes met hers. "No. I couldn't watch them treat you that way." His words stunned her. After years of being a burden, someone saw her as human. As she lay down that night, a faint hope flickered, a home, a man to stand beside her, a child to call her mother. Outside, the wind howled, but in Tina's heart, a sliver of peace took root. Rumors spread fast in Dry Hollow. The oversized Apache woman lived at Elias Ward's ranch. Some scoffed, others whispered he'd lost his mind. In the saloon, Caleb Morton, humiliated by Tina's choice, ground his teeth. He couldn't bear her finding peace elsewhere. He hired Jeb Mullen, a brutal thug with scarred hands and a trail of bloodshed. Caleb wouldn't face Elias alone, hiding behind Jeb's violence. A week later, Elias and Tina rode into town for supplies. Main Street tensed as they appeared, Tina towering beside Elias, her hand clutching her dress tightly. Whispers died when Jeb stepped into their path, his voice like gravel. "This woman belongs to my boss. Hand her over." Elias set down his sack of seeds, his gray eyes scanning Jeb, then Caleb lurking behind. "She belongs to no one. She chose me." The crowd held its breath. Jeb sneered, hand on his pistol. Tina's heart pounded, but in Elias's stance, half a step forward, hand near his colt, she saw a man shielding her. The air crackled with tension. Caleb blinked, fear winning. He pulled Jeb back, muttering, "Not here." They retreated, but Caleb's eyes burned with hatred. Back at the ranch, Tina sat by the fire, her voice steady. "If you'll have me, I'll stay." "Thank you." Elias nodded, the silence warm with unspoken trust. Days passed in quiet rhythm. Tina mended fences, split wood, and led cattle, her hands growing sure. Elias watched her, the emptiness in his soul lightening. One evening, he treated a bruise on her arm with herbs. Tina winced but didn't pull away, her eyes holding gratitude. By the fire, she spoke haltingly. "In my tribe, I was scorned. Here, I feel warmth." Elias added a log, nodding. His wife and child lost to fever, he'd lived alone, until now. In the saloon, Caleb's rage festered. "He stole her," he slurred to Jeb. "If I don't take her back, what am I?" Jeb grinned. "One old rancher, one woman. Me and the boys can handle that." They planned an ambush while Elias checked the pasture. At the ranch, Tina and Elias built a new roof, their movements synchronized. Tina's soft laugh startled her, laughter was foreign to her life of rejection. At night, Elias smoked on the porch while Tina sharpened a blade, their silence kindling trust. Under a crescent moon, the old dog growled. Elias gripped his Winchester, sensing danger. Tina, feeding the stove, froze at the dog's bark, her warrior instincts sharp. Hooves pounded the earth. Elias's voice was grim. "They're here." A bullet shattered the window, slamming into a beam. Tina grabbed the carbine, dropping to one knee, firing twice. A man fell from his saddle. Elias covered her, precise and cold-eyed. Jeb charged, axe raised, roaring for Tina. She hurled her knife, grazing his face. Elias pulled her inside, barricading the door. "They're not coming through." Torches hit the roof, flames erupting. Tina's eyes blazed, she wasn't fighting alone. As flames devoured the roof, cattle wailed in panic. Elias reloaded, watching through the door. Jeb aimed for the barn, intent on destruction. Tina, carbine down, drew her Apache knife. "I'll hold him." Before Elias could stop her, she burst outside, a towering figure in the firelight. Jeb drew his pistol, but Tina knocked it aside, her knife grazing his throat. They grappled brutally, blood seeping from her shoulder. She roared, unyielding, driving Jeb down with her blade at his throat. "You'll never touch me again." Elias arrived, smoke rising from his rifle. "Enough. We're alive. That's victory." Ashes fell like a curtain on the battle. The valley stilled. Caleb and Jeb fled, defeated. The scorched ranch stood, a new home rising from the ashes. Tina and Elias rebuilt, their movements like clockwork. One evening, Tina touched her belly, whispering, I never thought I'd call any place home. Elias wrapped an arm around her, a life's decision in the sunset's glow. Townsfolk still gossiped, but Elias's quiet defiance silenced them. A month later, the doctor confirmed Tina's pregnancy, igniting joy in the small house. On the final summer night, Tina rested her head on Elias's shoulder, the starlit prairie stretching before them. They were no longer lone survivors but a family, forged by love and trust in a harsh land.